El 28
On
de
December
diciembre del
28,
88,
1988,
vi
I
esta
saw this
cosa
enormous
enorme de forma
triangular shape.
triangular en el cielo.
I ran to get my binoculars,
Inmediatamente corrí a buscar
and then
mis
I noticed two
binoculares. Di
F-14s.
la vuelta y me di cuenta de dos
They tried to
F-14.
intercept it,
Los dos
and then I don't know
trataron
what
de
happened.
interceptarlo,
If
pero
the jets
no
entered
sé
the
qué pasó.
UFOs by the rear or the
Los jets
side,
entraron en esta cosa
they never
por
came out.
forma triangular.
Then the whole thing was gone.
This huge UFO is said to be a mile wide. It's been seen over Puerto Rico, according to Quest's Director of Investigations, Tony Dodd. He says several US military aircraft have been snatched from the air.
Right, that is the main UFO which the people in Puerto Rico say is abducting aircraft. They reckon this UFO is over a mile across in size. That was a picture done by the UFO artist James Nichols from photographs taken in Puerto Rico.
This happened in December 28, 1988 at 7:45 p.m. The people of the area of Cabo Rojo and Lajas, two towns to the southwest of the island, that night saw a very huge ball of blue light, as we see here in the drawing, that was flying over the Sierra Bermeja Mountains, a small ridge there where many of these incidents have been happening in Puerto Rico. And then this ball of light changed, and it changed to another color, to a huge ball of yellowish light, and the witnesses all could see that this was part of a triangular craft, very big in size, and this yellow light was underneath the object. It was a almost semicircular, something like a bulge or a ball of yellow light, very bright, and the two jet fighters were trying to intercept it, and in 3 different occasions made it veer away and change its trajectory, its direction. In the third occasion, the object stopped in midair. One of the jet fighters seemed to, as if it was going to collide with the object by the back of it. And the people began screaming because they believed there was going to be a collision and an explosion and something terrible might happen. But what happened was that the jet fighter just disappeared, vanished in midair, next to the UFO. The other jet fighter kept flying next to it by the right side of it, and then all of a sudden, it also disappeared. It vanished. The UFO then came back again, turned around, flew over an area known there as the Saman Lake. It's a small pond surrounded by many palm trees. And over these palm trees, I would say about an altitude of 100 feet from the palm trees, it divided itself, this huge triangular object, into 2 different objects. It split with a luminous explosion, a soundless explosion, a very bright light. And both parts of the craft, one flew very fast to the north and one flew very fast to the east and disappeared. There were other witnesses that say that there was a surjet fighter that was checking on the situation from a distance. But when that pilot of that surjet fighter saw what happened, apparently he tried to flee the area, and 3 small balls of red light came out from the UFO and began chasing it, and they disappeared to the north. They don't know what happened to this surjet fighter.
How many witnesses followed this event?
Up to now, more than 100 witnesses.
What are your conclusions?
Well, this incident did occur. It's a very important one. When you have more than 100 witnesses that describe the same scene to you, they make the same drawings to you, what they saw. All the details fit with all the descriptions. And we have other information due to the investigation we made. For example, that this jet craft must have been from the Navy of the United States, because that day the Puerto Rico Air National Guard had no airplanes or any air practices in the area. And Roosevelt Road Naval Station in Ceiba, a principal base in the Caribbean from the U.S., did have some air practices that night and personnel in the area, even though they denied it. But the FAA, Federal Aviation Administration in San Juan, confirmed to us that there were practices from Roosevelt Road Naval Station there.
In December of 1988, we had 2 F-14 Tomcat jet fighters captured by a large delta-shaped craft over Cabo Rojo, the southwest corner of Puerto Rico.
From 6 o'clock in the afternoon, we saw jet aircraft passing above here headed west. At about 7:45, we heard more jets, whether of the Air National Guard or the Navy, they didn't know, and they were high. We could see them and hear the sound of their jet engines. I was already expecting something because some nights earlier, other jets had been in the area, and I believe one was reported to have been pursuing a UFO overhead, another F-14, seen by other witnesses and reported to it. I saw this new event and could see the UFO flying there over the Sierra Bermeja Mountains at a certain altitude. It came with brilliantly blinking lights, and I raised my binoculars and could see that it was very big and had a triangular shape. My wife and children and I were all watching it. It came down lower and was much bigger than the two jet aircraft that were following it. Then when one of the jets came toward it, as if it wanted to bounce it, which is slang for intercept, the immense machine veered away and slowed its velocity considerably and stopped. The jet that came along the right side of the object remained to the right, and the other crossed over to the left. And I don't know exactly what happened then, whether it went into the object from behind, from above, or what. We were shouting because we thought it would crash into the UFO and cause an explosion. The aircraft disappeared above or inside the UFO. Because I was looking through the binoculars, and it did not come back, and it did not come back into view, neither above nor below, nor at either side, I said, adios. But what happened, I don't know. It had disappeared, and the jet engine sounds had stopped. That's part of it. There was another man reported, I observed all this through my powerful binoculars. The big ship could be seen more clearly because it was immense. It could not fit into the ballpark of this community. And I could see that it was a metallic structure, object, of a grayish-yellow color, and had a huge ball of yellow light on the bottom center behind the bow. The point on the right side had big yellow lights, and similar lights on the left side were red. Another man interviewed, his name was Senor Carlos Manuel Mercado, who lived in another part of Cabo Rojo and was not standing in the same group with the ones that I just quoted. And Senor Mercado, with another group of people, gave this statement. The moment I saw it, I also just saw two airplanes coming, one on one side and the other on the other side. When they approached the big ship, as I have shown here, one jet airplane passed toward the front and towards the left-hand side, and the other towards the front on the right. When the jet fighters were very close, got in very close, I thought they were going to collide, and we saw that they said stop in the air, and that the jet aircraft looked as if it went inside the big ship. And then I saw them no more. The sound of their engine stopped. And then that continued moving, pointing again when we were standing in the field there. It was a big ship because it was enormous. And there it turned, and I saw that it was like a triangle, and it had some lights on the sides and a huge circle of light in the middle, from which a bright yellowish light shone. But when it turned over, that zone, it divided into one half, and part of it flew away towards Guarnica, and the other flew away towards Monte del Estado to the north. Another witness, a different group, described the separation of the big object into two parts. I believe those airplanes tried to corral it and force it to change direction, and it did until it came to a stop, and then it took them aboard. To me, it looked like it took them aboard, at least. I became very, very nervous because it was so big, it came right to there, and he pointed. And I shouted, the airplanes are going to crash into it. And others were shouting too, but they disappeared inside as if they flew in, and I did not hear them after that.
A similar triangle-shaped UFO was observed and filmed by hundreds of witnesses in March 1990 over Belgium. Two F-16 fighter jets tried to intercept the UFO. The pilots reported that the object increased speed in just 3 seconds from 200 to 850 miles per hour. Mr. Martin, are there any official statements regarding the incidents in Puerto Rico?
As a matter of fact, due to the situation happening in the southwest of Puerto Rico, it's all around the island, but in the southwest it's more obvious, more visible because of the many incidents that are happening there constantly. And it's a heavily populated area. The police and the civil defense and the authorities began a very intensive disinformation program trying to ridicule and to make everything seem as a lie, as fabrication by those people who were informing all of this. But fortunately, after they began doing this, especially the Civil Defense Agency in Puerto Rico, a source of ours gave us this letter that was sent secretly by the State Director of the Civil Defense Agency of Puerto Rico, Colonel Jose M. Enoya, in which he states clearly that the situation is real, that they are keeping an eye on the situation and investigating everything, just to be sure that what is happening and these sightings and this incident with UFOs and USOs, unknown submerged objects also, because they come out from the sea and into the sea. Many people have seen this happen there. It's not a threat to the security of the people of Puerto Rico on the Puerto Rican territory. As you know, something that doesn't exist can be a threat to anyone. There's also another thing. He says here that several agencies of Puerto Rico are involved in this investigation secretly. The military, the Radio Observatory of Arecibo, and they have always denied for many years that they had anything to do whatever with the UFO situation, and it's stated here by him that they do have something to do and they are checking on the situation. And Mr. Noya, these words written by him are very important because he's the liaison between the Puerto Rico National Guard Army and the Defense Intelligence Agency. He's their man in Puerto Rico. Yes, and the Defense Intelligence Agency is like the CIA in the military. So he knows what he's talking about.
The Puerto Rico story has prompted much interest from UFO watchers or ufologists.
I'd like to ask you a few words.
When Captain Graham Shepherd came back from a tour of the area, they were keen to know his story.
The explanation of everybody that we spoke to was that they were craft of some kind from elsewhere. It seems to be moving, how can I say, up the agenda of awareness to the extent that nobody was prepared to claim that these phenomena were lights in the sky or Venus or geese or aeroplanes. They were quite matter of fact about the possibility that these were spacecraft. But my own view is that they were seeing products of a very, very advanced technology, civilization, possibly. Their ability to change their flight characteristics, which are completely different from ours. For example, very large craft seem to be able to hover and to accelerate and to change direction at such a rate that completely defies what one might call our laws of aerodynamics and gravity.